Welcome to Back to the Frame Rate, part of the Weston Media Podcast Network. Back to the Frame Rate, where we watch and discuss films on VOD and streaming platforms for your entertainment. I'm your host, Nathan Shore. I'm here with Ellie Escobar, Brianna Butterworth, and with us, as a guest tonight, is Carlos Avila. Did I say that right?
Avilas.
I am sorry, but when we have guests here every once in a while, I don't always pay attention to their last names. What can I say? But we really appreciate you joining us again, Carlos. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Glad to be back.
So we are continuing our Exorcist retrospective, our series tonight, and we went out to the theater this past week. Woohoo! I know, it's like the old days. And we got to see a movie that we not saw, but we're going to, in a few moments, share our thoughts on this. But before I do, I am going to read from the plot synopsis of this movie. And this is from, the internet. When his daughter Angela and her friend Catherine show signs of demonic possession, it unleashes a chain of events that forces single father Victor Fielding to confront the nadir of evil. Terrified and desperate, he seeks out Chris McNeil, the only person alive who's witnessed anything like it before. And I will play a clip from a little piece of the trailer from The Exorcist Believer.
Hey, be home by dinner.
I love you. Good morning, Mr. Fielding.
Morning, Catherine.
And here are your daughters, Angela and Catherine. It's about 7 hours ago, and that's the last information we have.
Catherine!
Angela?
If you can hear this, we love you. Please come home.
Hey, you found her? What are you and Catherine doing out there in those woods?
You were just walking and walking. That's all I remember.
Angela, can you tell your dad how long you were gone?
A few hours.
Baby, you've been gone 3 days.
What'd you say?
I didn't say nothing.
Thought I heard you say something.
Hey, baby. You okay?
Wherever those girls went, they brought something back with them.
All right. That went on longer than I thought. I thought I only recorded like 40 seconds of it. Anyways, it's really cool. They actually did make the effort to bring in a little bit of the original Exorcist score into the
Yes.
score.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so that was part of the trailer for Exorcist Believer. Let's get into it. And I'm going to warn our audience before we begin our review. We're going to be talking spoilers throughout our review of this. I figure, by the time this comes out, it's going to be at least 3 weeks into its theatrical run. So you've already had your opportunity to see it, folks. So we're going to get right into all parts of this film. So let's begin to talk about it. Ellie, we're going to start with you. Tell us, and don't get this confused with all the other Exorcist films that I know you went out and saw ahead of time. I know they get all confusing. So, which was
Oh, no, they don't get
homework. This is not the one with Patrick Ewing. I now know what you're talking about from last week.
See, but I told you he was in that film.
Right.
Right. So I actually liked the film. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's as good as the number one. Number one film is always going to be the best for me. I mean, yeah. Linda Blair was just amazing in that particular role, and being so young. This film for me, I got chills. I don't know about you guys, but from time to time, I would get the chills. Just different scenes, and I thought the girls did a great job at becoming that demon. And then one of my favorite actors in the film is the what's his name?
The
He's
father?
the father.
Is it
Yeah.
Leslie Odom
Leslie
Jr.?
Odom Jr.
Yeah.
I thought he was amazing. I really loved his acting. He's very believable. I love how the story begins in Haiti, I guess, with the mom being pregnant. And can we say it or no? No spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, we are talking spoilers for this.
Okay.
Yep.
And how when she's pregnant and she gets blessed by these what do they call those people that bless you? The healer. I guess she's a healer, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they
Voodoo?
specify a creed.
No.
Might be voodoo,
Okay.
Yeah.
But I love the beginning. I love that they went to Haiti and to start the story. But for me, it just the whole time when the girls come back and get possessed uh, by this demon and how they, interesting enough, I there's a section in the film where they say when the demon says you have to choose, one of the girls, and in my mind I'm thinking if you choose your kid is gonna go to hell.
The devil
Mhm.
plays tricks, right?
Yeah, the devil plays. So the devil that not only tempts you, but it will play tricks with you. So you'll think he's saying, "I'm gonna save my child by choosing my child and letting the other kid die." But when you do that with the devil, you're basically saying, "Yeah, I choose her to go with you." That's how I took it right away. And in the middle of the movie, I just wanted it so badly. I don't talk to it in the movie because Carlos won't allow me to talk because he's like, shh, shh. Okay? So I don't. But in my head, I was talking to myself, and I said, I really hope, because when she says, I don't know where my daughter is, I don't know where she is. At that point, I'm like, I really hope that she shows up at the end or something. And she does. So I was really excited when she's like, oh my God, she's there. And in any case, it did do something to me. And I have to give you something. And I told Carlos this. I was sitting in that seat. And at one point, I felt like something hit me on my back like this. Like, I swear, I felt that. Like somebody just punched me in the back of my seat. But how can that be? Because our seats were right against the wall. So there's nobody behind us.
Ooh.
But I felt it. And I'm like thinking, like, what the F is that?
Are you a believer?
Ellie, this movie really affected you.
Dude, I'm just like, no. And yeah, I got the chills. It really, I love that they put a little bit of the music in there. Too bad for the priest because he died pretty fast.
Yeah, he went out like a chump. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the Catholic priest shows up, it's like
Okay,
the champion of everything. And
that
I'm
was
like,
a really funny scene.
it was really funny though. It was.
I felt like they were saying something with that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man, but to me, it's
like okay, first of all, you can tell, like you said earlier, these are the creators of Pineapple Express, right?
Yeah.
The writers.
Yep.
That same
That
team.
that priest coming in felt like an Avengers Endgame moment.
Oh,
The portals
yes.
coming
Oh,
in.
Yes.
We need.
Yes.
This is totally Avengers Assemble, like system. Yeah.
Oh, you took my note. That's exactly what I was gonna
Listen,
say.
it's goofy, but I loved it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is. But I thought that's how I felt. I felt like of all the you have the Christian guy, you have the healer, you have who else? Oh, the shaman man with
Root
the
worker or whoever.
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden he comes the priest, and all I'm thinking like, yo, go Catholics, yeah. I'm like, you're like cheering for that Catholic priest, and all of a sudden, like within seconds, I'm like, oh heck no.
Yeah, my mother laughed so loud in that theater. I was embarrassed. I had second embarrassed. No, everyone was
man.
quiet and shocked. And my mom was laughing. The priest's neck gets turned around.
And the funny thing is, Carlos, whenever I do something like that and I'm pretty loud, he just elbows me.
Like,
What are you doing? I'm like,
I'm
like
deeply
that.
regretting we didn't all go to see this together now.
dude, you would have like, I would have, you two would have been like, what is she laughing at? But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was great.
Okay.
To me, it was great. It was fun.
Okay. Carlos, I'd like to get your thoughts. Let's keep it like general opinions on this for now until we get into the details of the plot.
So I have a bone to pick with these, general audiences and also critics who rated this movie really, really low. And I don't think it's the best movie ever. Like, I'm not saying like this is better than the original Exorcist, but as a franchise, this movie's way better than almost every other movie in this franchise. And I don't know. I don't know what these people are watching. Like, I feel like I'm alone here. I'm watching this movie and I'm like, it doesn't hit the highs that I think it could have hit, but there's some really interesting stuff here. Like my mom said, it starts in Haiti. You have like this like kind of real world kind of like thing to it. And it kind of splits. It's like the way it is, the movie. Cause like the beginning of the movie feels like a dark movie of like these girls go missing and like, it's a real world kind of thing. And it's like, it's really scary and it's creepy, but then it turns into like, now it's a demonic possession movie. And we kind of have to fill in like what kind of thing that, what caused these girls to get possessed basically. And the movie explains it with like, one of the girls is into kind of like witchcraft or something like that. But so like, I feel like the movie's at odds with that kind of like the plot where it's like, it's one half of the movie is different than the other half, but I still think it's an enjoyable movie. And especially coming from the Exorcist franchise, where a lot of these movies don't make a lot of sense. Like you guys watch Exorcist 2? Did you guys watch the prequel to The Exorcist?
I've only seen the Exorcist and Exorcist 2 and this film. I have not seen the third one or the prequels.
The prequels are a mess. If you don't know the story about the prequels, real quick,
well,
what happened?
I don't want to know because I'm going to get to these.
No, but what happened was the studio, the prequel was made first, and the studio was so scared of putting this movie out, they canned it. They brought in a new director to reshoot it, but that became a whole new movie.
Yeah.
That movie bombed, and they went back to the original movie that they were afraid to put out. So they've released two prequel movies a year between each other. So
yes,
The Exorcist is just a mess of a franchise.
Well, one of them was Paul Schrader, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. It was like incredible.
Yeah.
Who, big fan.
You guys are going to talk about The Exorcist 3 next week, and it's a cult classic, right? But
yeah,
I really enjoy Exorcist 3. But
People
I still think
that one, yeah.
It's a really good scary movie, and it's very interesting. But I think The Exorcist Believer is way better than what people are making it out to be. Like, they're making it out to be like this movie is so garbage, but I don't think it's that garbage. I think there is some interesting things. I think the actors are really good. The two girls are super creepy. Buddy in the Blood. Like, come on now. That girl, she reminded me a lot of Linda Blair in a way.
Yeah.
In certain moments and scenes. And I thought those girls brought it. And the dimension of different religions or like different kind of sects of, what it means to like be spiritual. I thought that was really cool. And the ending, like what can I say? Like, it's a franchise. And what do we want in a franchise? We want like this through line. We want connections to what we loved of the original movie. And they brought back Linda Blair and they brought back the mother, and that reunion, like, it's cheating. It's cheating to do that in a movie like this. And it deserved a better movie, but this is the movie we got. And I love that ending. And they used the actual theme, like this iconic Exorcist theme that's like never used in any of these other movies, but like they used it in this one. And it's like, it's amazing. I thought this was a really good movie.
Okay. B, are you going to class up this podcast, or what are you going to
No, Nathan.
I wish I liked anything as much as Ellie and Carlos like this movie. Oh man, I'm going to sound like such a bummer because I love the enthusiasm for it, but I just think this movie had so much potential, but I can't rate it on its potential. I have to rate it on what it gave me. And what it gave me was not a lot, really. So that was, man, I just have so much to say about a movie that said so little. I think to start with, I think in the original movie, and one of the reasons it's so iconic is that it was grappling with like an increasingly secular world and sort of that fear around faith and the fear that faith could still instill in people. I don't know how you address that in a faithless world today. And I think that maybe part of that was by trying to address whitewashing from those movies, and by trying to incorporate more faith and more healers. And what we got was just this like really common thing that I see a lot in movies, especially in franchise movies, which is just this like overcrowding of people. And then I didn't get any juice out of them. Like any one of them would have been really good, but like pick one or two. We didn't need any of the priests. You know, we could have stuck with the healer and done a through line with Haiti. We didn't. I'm not really sure why specifically it felt like the 2010 Haiti earthquake. That felt like a random through line. Like it just feels like things got dropped, and that was really frustrating because the performances are so good.
I did, I want to stick on Haiti for 1 second, B, while you brought it up. I did go ahead and I read some reviews, and apparently I've read some really nasty backlash on the use of the Haiti earthquake as a plot device for this film. That it's kind of I don't know how to really put it, but like it's kind of cruel to use this real world tragedy as a springboard for this story. Now, this is not the first time a movie has used a tragic event in a work of fiction, but I read multiple film reviews where this was pointed out as something that was really looked down upon in the review. Like, why use this as a plot device? And it tainted the film for them. I don't know what anyone else thinks of that. If this,
I just feel like they didn't go, like, we didn't get the payoff for like why, like, because they touched with this Haitian healer, but like they didn't go in depth of what that meant to the story. Like they didn't go like what it actually meant to these characters. It was just kind of like, well, here's a new healer, here's a new, religion. But I can see like why that's like this traumatic event is looked down upon. And maybe the film just didn't go far enough to like explain why the character has such a strong connection to, like, the characters are Haitian, but
Right.
like why, like, religiously, or like, why it's so important to them.
Well,
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, so I think I would have minded it a lot less if it actually mattered to the plot that she was blessed by this healer. I think it could have been any tragedy anywhere, and she didn't need to have a blessing on Angela for it to affect the end of the
Mhm.
movie. Unless I'm like dramatically missing something there, which I don't think I am. And I was really, I guess my last thoughts on it are I was really excited that Ellen Burstyn was back, and then I was really disappointed with how her return was handled. It did just feel like this ultimate Avengers Assemble, like the heist is coming together moment, and then they just like had her get really seriously injured and stuck her in a hospital and did this like fan service. We know that another movie is coming out in 2025. I think it is. We know Blumhouse and
Maybe.
Peacock.
Well, they are.
What?
Yeah,
Well, that's
they're contracted
Yeah.
for it, but it's
two more, but they're rethinking
yeah.
it now.
Well,
And
no, sorry.
David Gordon Green may not be involved in it now either because of
Well, and
yeah.
his career is really interesting, but I'm not sure what he's getting out of these legacy sequels between this and the Halloween movies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I watched this film 3 days ago, and
Remember none of it.
well, I guess I walked out of the theater, thinking to myself, this, that wasn't so terrible.
Sure.
It wasn't a perfect movie, it had its merits, but I guess the more distance I have from this and the more I consider it, I've soured on it a bit more. I think the film, it's competently made, but also when you compare this film to some other very good horror films that I've been watching, I think recently, I actually was mentioning offline a moment ago, B, you weren't here because you had a camera issue. I just watched Talk to Me today, which was excellent. Megan from earlier this year, Scream 6, Evil Dead Rise. I haven't seen Saw 10 yet, which I hear is getting incredible reviews, but it seems like Exorcist Believer should be a shoo-in to engage with audiences and be able to tell a compelling story and be scary. But
it was not. I didn't think it was scary.
But what we have here, I think, is a very solid Act 1 of a film. a messy but okay Act 2, and an Act 3 that has absolutely no clue what it wants to do, in my opinion. All right. And maybe that's because David Gordon Green is holding back information, because we all know this is intended to be a trilogy. But I do want to mention a couple positive things that I did take away from this. Like I said, I think the first half of this, specifically the relationship building that takes place between Leslie Odom Jr.'s character Victor and his daughter Angela, I enjoyed. The prologue too that takes place in Haiti. What else? The casting I think is terrific. I think Leslie Odom Jr. has all the talent in the world. I think he does great considering the material that he's given, and he elevates this material too. I want to tread lightly here because I don't want to make a comparison to another actor because they're both African American, but I think he's got the charisma, talent, and career potential of a Denzel Washington if things work out for him. I think he's got that level of talent, and he's so good. I will go out and see anything that he does. I think he's that good, and I think he's great in this film. Ann Dowd playing the neighbor. I think she steals this movie. She steals this movie, and one of the best supporting performances in a film I've seen this year. So there's nothing wrong with the performances in this film. They are acting their butts off in this movie.
Yeah.
I thought the kids were really good. So I'm not going to talk anymore about the acting. And Norbert Leo. Not many people know who this guy is. He plays Catherine's father. You know, he's meant not to be a very likable person in this, but he's one of my favorite character actors. There was a show called Bloodline that was on Netflix. He was one of my favorite actors. He's so good at playing morally compromised characters. I love him every time I see him in something. The film I thought looked great. I think the scenes in the house are awesome. David Gordon Green and his cinematographer, Michael Simmons, have great chemistry. They collaborated on the Halloween franchise. They really know how to shoot these scenes. I think the camera floating through the hallways, looking through door frames. It was very reminiscent of how Owen Roizman shot the original Exorcist. And actually, while I was watching this, it reminded me of another horror classic, Rosemary's Baby, in the way it was shot. So I think they know how to make a film have that very classic 70s, late 60s horror feel to it. I think they did a great job on that technically. However, the movie, like I said, falls apart for me on a combination of several things. It will get into that more. But again, I mentioned before, B, you mentioned it, the whole Avengers Assemble style of battle with the forces of evil where all of these fates are coming together. It was so cluttered and messy. Why did it have to have all these characters? It didn't need to have all these people in the room. They bring back Ellen Burstyn, legendary Ellen Burstyn, to reprise her role as Chris McNeil, the mother of Reagan from the original Exorcist, and they completely misuse her here. It's a crime how she so unceremoniously exits the story. Those two things just left me with such a sour taste in my mouth. There's many other things, but the fact that this had so many characters it didn't need to be. I don't even know why they had to have two girls be possessed in this. I know they did it so they could have this juxtaposition of the father, Victor, who is atheist, and the family that were Christian, have this opposition. But at the same time, it didn't need to have two girls possessed.
Nathan.
Nathan,
I
don't know.
Nathan, it was an homage to the two prequels that came out in 2004 and 2005 of the Exorcist franchise. That's what it was for.
I'm never gonna see those.
But this,
so,
this
I thought it was this thing of like we need to make him have a choice, and he needs to be punished for making a choice, and then be redeemed for that. But like we never saw him make that choice. Like you just told us at the end.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the problem with the choice. All right, and I don't mean to hijack this. All right, so here's my problem. We have these two girls. All right, we have Angela and Catherine. All right, we get to know Angela and Victor, their relationship very well.
Mm-hmm.
We have
and I love that stuff.
Yes, we don't know anything about Catherine. we don't really know anything about her relationship with her parents that much. We know a little bit about them. They're church-going family. We're kind of meant to not really like them that much. But
in fact, I don't even like Catherine, so I was okay with her going to hell.
that's the problem. But that's the problem. The
This movie
demon,
tells, not
Pazuzu,
shows.
whoever it is, you have to make a choice. We, the audience, have already made the choice. We don't care about Catherine.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
If we had given the time with Catherine, if we had seen Catherine and Angela as friends more, had that foundation of them spending time together as girls, doing things together, and like if we had learned to like this girl, and then we're faced with that choice, oh my God, then you have that Sophie's Choice moment for the audience. We didn't get that.
Yeah.
That is the crime of this movie, is that I don't care, because we only care about Angela.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. The movie really said, "F them kids." It builds up. It tells you stuff. It doesn't show you stuff.
No, but you know what it is? I don't think it's not that I don't like Catherine. I don't like her parents. And because I don't like
Jennifer Nettles, the lead singer of Sugarland. Okay.
Wait, what? I don't even know. I just don't like their parents' attitude. I get the sense that these parents feel they're better than anyone else, and so
that was the intent, obviously,
I guess. And
I think that was unfortunate that that's the way they went with this.
Yeah,
they could have made this. They could have made this a real Sophie's Choice moment for the parents and for us, and the father coming in at the last minute and screwing it all up. That would have been, I think, very effective and made us walk out of the theater like feeling really, a real gut punch. One of them did have to die. And
it was so close.
I didn't care. The potential was there. The potential was there. But
that being said, and I'm sorry, I have so much to say again about a real house of cards of a film. I do think that the closest this movie gets to the original movie's magic is the parent-child dynamic with Leslie Odom Jr. and his child. That is so
agreed.
Baked into the original Exorcist, and it's the reason that we care so much about Regan's transformation and possession, and it's the reason we only give a about Angela and not about Catherine.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
but I also feel that Catherine was kind of like a little instigator. She brought Angela to the woods, and she was into this kind of like offerings and witchcraft, whatever, and Angela wasn't. And she brings Angela to the woods, and I feel like, why would you do that? Like,
it does seem inconsistent. If she is a Catholic, comes from a Catholic family, what is she doing messing with this stuff? I don't know. I mean,
she's Christian, not Catholic.
She's
not Catholic. She's Christian. Right. So
and she's going to do this.
You'll never catch a Catholic doing
ritual.
that.
Yeah.
No way. You'll never catch a Catholic.
You're right.
Doing that shit.
Correct. No. So yeah, I found a lot of inconsistencies with that. I wish there was just more fleshed out.
I really thought that priest was Superman or something coming through.
The best line was when he goes to the priest and he goes, "Hey, what the fight's in there," because the priest was praying in the car.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a good line.
So I want to talk a little bit more about Ellen Burstyn in this, because this was this was the big thing to get Ellen Burstyn in this movie. And, my take was, I think, first of all, it was completely unneeded for this film, because I don't feel like there was much of a connection, number one, to her story and Regan's story. I felt like it was really forced. If Ellen Burstyn, if Chris McNeil and Regan had nothing to do with the story, this movie could have stood on its own completely. I don't think it needed to have that connection. Attempting to make that connection from that possession from 50 years ago felt like a major contrivance of egregious proportions. I don't know. Victor convinces Chris to come to Georgia to see his children. First of all, what the hell is she going to do? At this time, there is no reason to think that Regan's possession has anything to do with these two girls. Chris has no power. She even says that she was not, she's not part of the priesthood. She's she's not an exorcist.
But I guess, Nathan, that's as a parent, you want to know the story of the experience that another parent went through. See if you can learn something from that parent. That's how I took it. Like, okay,
God,
if
Ellie, that's like Stretch Armstrong level.
But the problem, but that's great and all. But she even says in there she didn't get to witness it. She wasn't allowed in, which whatever. But if they're going to go to the lengths to put that have that dialogue in the movie, I didn't get to see it. I wasn't part of it. And then there's an opportunity where she actually could have been part of it.
Now she's never going to see it.
She didn't even get,
She's not seeing anything.
But why bring her into this movie, giving her the opportunity to play a role, play a hero in this, and where she didn't get to see it the first time. Now she could have done something. I mean, all I can imagine,
but she has no eyes now.
All I can imagine is that David Gordon Green and Danny McBride and whoever, when they were writing this whole thing, like, oh, we got big plans for Ellen Burstyn in the next one. The woman's 91 years old. Do you think she's signing up for more of these Exorcist movies? This isn't Jamie Lee Curtis in her early 60s doing a trilogy of Halloween films. This girl,
Wait, Jamie Lee Curtis is not in her early 60s. What are you talking about?
She's 64.
Is she?
Yeah.
I thought she was 70 something.
No, she's 60. That's what I don't really understand. Like, what was the plan? Was this always the plan for Ellen Burstyn to come in and exit this franchise this way? It feels like a rewrite or something. We made a mistake. We need to fix something. It doesn't add up.
It is weird. It is so weird. Like, why bring her back just to sideline her? And now, like, if you're gonna make a trilogy and she's gonna be a part of that, and now she's what, like Daredevil now? Like, she's gonna be like I don't. It doesn't make any sense.
Like, I can't. There's no way. No matter what tweaking they do for this next this next movie, there's no way she's coming back for the next one. So, so I don't know what the plan is. And
was she introduced just to bring back Linda Blair?
That's what I think.
That's what I think too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That also sucks, I think. I mean, but I know Linda Blair was on set to sort of be an advisor with the kids on set because she was so young when she filmed, which I think is amazing. I don't know, Carlos, Ellie, you guys like this movie. What did you?
It's because she said, I heard that Linda Blair was never going to come back to an Exorcist movies because of how she was treated like as a child, right? So seeing her at the end of this movie is like, she's back. Like, she's like, it's all forgiven, I guess. Like, this is how you franchise out your franchise, even though it's a mess of a franchise.
What if Linda Blair has a daughter and then gets possessed in the next one?
Oh.
See, we're speculating, and this all might be some of the plan, but
maybe if the director and the writer are listening, why don't you make her have a daughter and get possessed?
Pozzozo is not done.
You know what? We might never know. Who knows?
I'm just a fan that they use the score, because in this franchise, The Exorcist, we never hear the score other than the first movie.
Yeah,
and so for them bringing it back, even if it was like muted a little bit in the middle of the film, like that, I'm just a sucker for that kind of stuff. Like, you're bringing this is a franchise, so franchise your franchise.
You hear the soundtrack even for a little bit, and you get all excited. Like,
I got hype. Yeah, the hype was there.
Yeah. There's
I live for the hype.
The movie did right, and I think that's why I'm so disappointed by it, because Nathan said this.
It was enjoyable. It was an enjoyable film for me.
It's not the worst horror movie I've ever seen. Like, this was all miles ahead of Exorcist 2. You know, it's not. You know, it's just on its own.
I'm not into the Scream franchise. I'm not into the Scream franchise. So to me, I think Exorcist.
There are other franchises, Ellie.
I know, it's true.
Like all the Saws.
I just finished all of the Insidious films the past week. They're fantastic.
They are really
Yeah.
great films.
Yeah.
But they're
James
really
Wan did some
scary
of those,
too.
right? I love James Wan.
All right. So before we end our discussion on The Exorcist Believer, we have a very important piece of business to get to.
Something in this field could be releasing the chemical into the air when there's too many of us together.
Don't eyeball me, boy. I see your mother driving up and down the street looking at me. I'll be your stepfather by the week.
It's a bad time, Bob. I'm serious. If I leave now, I'm not coming back.
You ever hear the expression, you got a face only a mother can love?
Let's just stay ahead of the wind.
That means it's time for our Wahlberg on Wahlberg segment, where we recast somebody from this film with Mark Wahlberg. Clearly, for the worse or for the better, I don't know. Actually, I thought the acting in this film was pretty good. So there are really, I don't know who I would recast this, but I'm going to ask Ellie.
Catherine. Body in the blood. Body in the blood. Body in the blood. I see it.
Body in the blood.
Yes. Mark Wahlberg coming down the aisle. Yeah.
Yep.
I see it.
I do see it. That's a great pick. Carlos, any thoughts on this?
Ooh. I would love to see Mark Wahlberg as the Catholic priest.
Yeah,
that would be a good.
Great. That's a good choice.
That would be great.
You're not going to twist my head.
That was funny.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Any thoughts on this?
Sure. I would do Catherine's dad, Norbert Leo.
Yeah. Why not?
I think just him doing the choice moment would be really fun.
Yeah.
How would Mark Wahlberg say it?
I choose you. Nah. Transformers.
Can you do?
He just spends the whole movie exacerbated, so I think.
Yeah, he's always exhausted.
Yes.
He's like,
do Body in the Blood, Carlos.
It's the Body in the Blood. Body in the Blood.
Oh my God.
I think I would recast Ellen Burstyn.
Shut up.
Because they just done her dirty in this movie, and somebody else.
Nathan said, "Give Ellen a break."
Yeah. Why not?
Yes. All right.
And he doesn't need his eyes. He can act without them. And he wouldn't take that. He'd probably fight back. He'd probably take out.
Oh yeah,
Catherine. He would.
Yeah, he definitely would fight back.
So. Okay.
God, Mark Wahlberg can't wait to work with us.
Oh my God! If he ever gets a hold of these moments, we'll have him. We'll invite him.
What's this podcast? All right.
Mark Wahlberg, we'd love to have you on our podcast.
Yeah, he can guest when we do the next Transformers movie. All right. Let's close the book on The Exorcist Believer. I think we can do that. All right. One thing we're going to do before we get to our next segment, because I can't talk.
Segment.
You sound great.
I want to just thank our listeners for being with us on the show. We want to, if you want to find us on Facebook or Instagram, we are at Back to the Frame Rate. You can email us at backtotheframerate@gmail.com. Help us by leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whichever podcast app you use. We sincerely appreciate it. Also, we have recently published our first newsletter, Frame Rate Monthly. We encourage you to sign up. It's chock full of information about the podcast, what we've been watching, what we're going to be discussing on future episodes, and a lot of other fun content. So sign up. You can email us again at backtotheframerate@gmail.com and put in the subject line newsletter. So it is time for our recommendation shelf.
Sir.
What?
Are either one of these any good?
I don't watch movies.
Well, have you heard anything about either one of them?
I find it's best to stay out of other people's affairs.
You mean you haven't heard anybody say anything about either one of these?
Nope.
Well, what about these two?
Oh, they suck.
All right. So our recommendation shelf this week, we are doing something a little bit different. We have a lot of recommendations because what we're doing is our top 3 scariest movie moments. And this, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. We're all going to go one by one. We're going to list off our number 3s, 2s, then 1s. And yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So this is October. It's a few weeks before Halloween. It's a great time of the year to do this. I see somebody's, looks like they're editing their list right now. Who's doing that?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I don't think I'm going to keep it.
Okay. Yeah, this is, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's begin. I think we chose before the show who was going to go first. Ellie, what is your number 3? Us from Jordan Peele. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a
The
great
scene
movie.
What's the scene?
where the family first appears at by the driveway. There's like the 4 people standing there in the dark. That just got to me because I always think I'll go outside to take some trash out to the backyard and I'll see somebody standing there just exactly like that. So I was like, oh, heck no. So that scene got to me. I've just recently watched Us actually this weekend. It's one of the movies I missed from Jordan because I've seen most of them, but I for some reason missed this one and I actually enjoyed it. It's really weird. But
I liked it a lot.
yeah, it was just like the idea of okay, yeah, no. But I enjoyed it, and it had moments where I was rooting for the family, but the twist at the end was really great. That
Yeah.
twist, I wasn't expecting the twist
Mm-hmm.
in the film, so I don't want to spoil it too much. But I'll recommend that. This is our recommendation thing, right? No, it's not. Never
Well,
mind.
if
It's a great movie.
yeah,
It
Everyone
is.
yeah,
should
it
see
really
it.
is. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It's so well done, and it just keeps you connected. It kept me connected the whole time. So
Yeah.
I loved Nope too. I'm excited for what he does next.
yeah,
Yeah, Nope was
right?
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, Nope was really awesome too. I don't think there's any film that he's made so far that I did not like. Like
Mhm.
he's always on point with his filming, so I really love his work. My next number 2.
Whoa,
Wait,
hold on.
wait.
We're
Sorry.
gonna.
Oh, we're all going one on one. Okay.
Yep. Carlos,
Okay.
what is your number 3?
My number 3 scariest movie moment is from The Conjuring 2, and it's the introduction of the nun. The Vladik, I believe his name, demon. The nun is just a creepy character, all-time creepy movie character anyway. And the introduction of the nun in that movie, so scary. Yeah. I gotta watch the Nun 2. I missed the Nun 2 this year. I need to watch it when it comes
Next
onto
time it's still
VOD.
October.
Is it still in theaters? I have to go check.
It's still, I think it's in some theaters. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's my number 3.
All right.
Good.
B, what is your number 3?
I also went with a more recent horror movie, Hereditary, which I thought was great, and the Beheading. I did not expect it. I saw it in theaters, and I just absolutely jumped the
Yeah.
F out of my seat. I was like 60 feet high, didn't see it coming. It scared the out of me, and a lot of things in that movie are creepy AF. But
Yep.
Yeah.
that one got me.
My number 3, and I'm going to go back to the same franchise you talked about, Carlos, is from The Conjuring, the first one. And it is what I call the hide and clap scene. And this is where the family, it's about a family that moves into a home in Rhode Island, not far from where we live, actually. And I think what makes this scene so effective is that we see the daughters play this game of hide and clap earlier in the film. It's already a very unnerving game that creates a lot of tension, and it really ratchets up the tension already. And apparently the spirits that plague this family are watching, because later in the film, the mom, who's played by Lily Taylor, is at home with the girls, and she's folding laundry and listening to the radio while everyone is in bed, and she hears that sound in the hallway, them playing this hide and clap, and someone's laughing, and she goes to investigate, and she hears the clap, assuming it's the girls playing the game of hide and clap, and she goes out and she checks in the kids, and they're sound asleep. And I think there's this loud sound in the hallway. She eventually, I think, is like thrown down like the cellar stairs, and there's like this red ball that comes bouncing out toward her or something like that. And she finds like a book of matches and lights it. And then I think somebody says, "Do you want to play hide and crap?" Like disembodied voice. And then like some hands come right over her shoulder and do the clap right over her. And I just like completely lost it.
That was great.
It's a masterclass in sound design, atmosphere, and just setup and payoff, because you see the girls playing this innocent game, a half hour earlier. It's so effective. It's so effective. And it's creepy. It's a scene that goes on for like 10 minutes. And it pays off at the end of this. So it probably could have been higher on my list, but it gets so unnerving. Yeah, it gets you. It absolutely gets you.
And you remember it.
Yeah. So that is my number 3. So Ellie, we're back to you for your number 2.
The Ring won. And the first time I saw The Ring, I saw it at the cinema with my cousin. I don't think I've ever seen a film that scared me as much as The Ring did. And it stayed with me for days and months. And I swear I will see rings everywhere, like little circles on the floor, on the ground. I was scared to pop in any VHS videos into the VHS machine, because I was scared that I was going to get the curse of the ring 7 days. But the scariest moment for me when I first watched this film is when that girl comes out of the TV and with her hair.
Iconic moment.
Oh
Iconic.
my! I can't even. And for days, I couldn't even watch TV because I was like, "Oh, so that thing is gonna come out of the TV," and I was just. It really got to me, that scene and that whole movie.
I'm right there with you, Ellie.
Yeah.
A million percent. Carlos, what's yours?
So, playing off my mother's scene, Sadako versus Kayako fight scene. I don't know if you guys heard of this movie or seen this movie.
I don't.
So, Sadako is the girl from The Ring.
Okay?
Kayako is the girl from The Grudge.
Oh my God.
What? Shut up.
Yes. So, in this movie, these kids find the cursed tape that Sadako haunts, and they put it and they watch it in the house where Kayako haunts, the Grudge house. So, they get double cursed. And how do you beat a double curse? You get them to fight each other.
Is this a comedy?
No, it's not a comedy.
It seems like it.
But it's awesome. It's awesome, and it's creepy as hell.
Watch it.
Seems like a Freddy versus Jason type thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is Freddy versus Jason. But Sadako and Kayako are the creepiest horror characters of all time. And to have them both in the same movie, it's like, forget about it. You're going to get creeped out the whole time watching them.
Is this a singular movie or is this a franchise?
This is a singular movie, but
wow. Okay.
Is it live action or anime?
It's live action.
Live action.
Wow.
Yeah. So you got to see what happens with Sadako versus Kayako.
Carlos, you've been holding out of me. What the hell? You didn't tell me about this? How dare you?
I am glad you brought this up. I don't know how I'll watch this, but I am fascinated to learn about this.
Creepy. That's all I gotta say.
I have a hard time bringing myself to rewatch The Ring.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I want to watch The Ring anything myself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
B, what do you got for number 2?
Well, I am gonna switch mine up.
Okay.
I was gonna choose The Ring for some of these because that movie is just pivotal for me. But instead, I went with something that's not really a kill, but it has stayed with me for a very long time, which is the reverse bear trap on Amanda in the first Saw movie. Spoiler, she does make it out, but the reverse bear trap does come back in the series, and the visual of it, just this giant mechanical thing and what it's capable of, has haunted me for decades. And that is a movie that's rife with contraptions that can and do kill people, but something about this, the time sensitive, the clock that Amanda had on, the capability of it, you know, we see it appear in later Saw movies. It's just like, that is a torture method that just stuck with me. Like, I saw it at the right time in my life, that even though it didn't kill Amanda, like, I've had false memories where I'm like, I don't know, I think maybe it did, you know, like, it just it scared me so much. Yeah. Oh,
All right.
terrifying.
Wow.
Iconic.
My number 2, and this has already come up a couple times already, is the 2002 film The Ring from Gore Verbinski.
It's a perfect movie. It's a perfect
Now, this franchise has actually already come up in the podcast before when Sam and I listed off our top 5 favorite horror movie franchises. This was at the top of my list. If you want to hear that episode, that was episode number 21. So go check that out. There's several scenes from this film that came to mind when I saw this back in the theater, and it scared the crap out of me back then. But for the purpose of this list, I have to go with a scene that I identify as I saw her face. Now, this scene takes place after the two friends, Katie and Becca, are at home and they're having their like sleepover, and Katie admits that she's seen the cursed tape. And the setup during the scene is the real reason why I think all this works, because it's so unnerving. There's a bunch of exposition about the lore of the tape, but also, once again, Verbinski does this amazing job creating atmosphere for this, and it's atmosphere of dread. The thing we really don't see is the kill in this scene. It's not until after Katie's funeral when our hero, is a journalist played by Naomi Watts, who's incredible in this, is talking to Katie's sister when she says that she found her in the closet. And she says, I saw her face. Then there's this aggressive jump cut to this grotesque image of the body of Katie, who's deformed. Her face is all gray. Her mouth looks forced open and unnatural and crooked. It's one of the most haunting images I've ever seen on film, and it's stuck with me ever since. And right now, the hairs on my arms just, because I remember it. And every once in a while, it pops up on my web browser, I have to close it right away because it just bothers me so much. I think this moment is just so scary because it makes a bold statement that we, the audience, are not safe in this film. Anything can happen. And from that point forward, I was completely on the edge of my seat during this film. It's the first real scare in the movie, and it sets the tone. It sets the tone for the film. So that's my number 2.
I'm gonna watch The Ring tonight, y'all.
I
want to watch it too.
No,
watch it.
no,
Yes.
no. I can't never watch that. I could never. No, I saw it one time. I never, ever again saw The Ring again in my life.
I think there's a sequel, isn't there? The Ring 2.
Oh, there's
There
Ring
is.
2. Not as good, but it has still good atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the original, Jeff. I haven't seen.
I've seen the original. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw Rings, the one that came out like 5-6 years ago. I heard it was not good. Yeah. You know what's funny? When for publicity, did you read about the thing for the publicity for that movie? Best Buys or whatever it was would have The Ring on all their TVs in the department stores.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about rings. I have a ring light right in front of me. So
Yeah. Well, I couldn't walk in front of a TV that had static on for
oh no
years.
yeah, no.
Turn that off.
I actually went and I hid all my VHS tapes. I hid them somewhere.
For me, it was VHS. I was.
Oh, it was just TVs in general, televisions in general, screens. So nope. Little girls that come walking
It's
through
funny
that TV.
how we humans are that we know it's a movie, but
it's a movie. It just
really gets to you.
It gets
effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. let's get to our number one picks for the scariest movie moments. We are at Ellie.
Yeah, so as much as I don't like The Ring and will never watch again, the Conjuring franchise, just, I don't know, man. It's just, to me, that's just too real. I mean, I know The Ring is like, it could happen, but the Conjuring, I isn't that based on a true story?
Mm-hmm.
See, and when it's based on a true story, I don't like movies like that because that could really happen. so, um, so all the Conjuring movies have uh, this. It's just disturbing to me. There's so many scenes that I could think of that scare me, but the in a horror film, the scariest part is when there's kids in it. I don't know why I don't like kids in horror films because kids, believe it or not, scare me. They are so scary in a horror film. Like all of a
My
sudden you
kids scare me every day.
I can
They're
am I
gonna
gonna see
off
a
me.
kid running by the living room? Like a kid that I don't know? Like that's the most spooky thing. So the scene with the kid that went downstairs and is coming back up and he has his little firefighter truck, and I spelled truck the wrong way. Then I had TRACK,
Okay.
TRACK, it's TRUCK, right? So truck.
We know what you mean.
And he looks at the truck and puts it into the little tent, and then he goes to sleep. And oh my god, like that scene to me, it's like I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. I'm like, okay, he's gonna see it. He's gonna see that thing. And he keeps looking out the room to see. And I'm like, kid, just get in the damn bed. Just get in the damn bed. Don't look at it. Do not go in there. And then the fire truck comes out to his bathroom. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. And I'm like, what the heck? And then the kid, what does he do? He follows the damn truck. He follows the damn truck and sends it right back into the tent. And I lost it. I'm like, you stupid kid. You stupid kid. Like, seriously. Oh, he had me. And so, yeah, that scene just gave me the creeps a lot. There were so many other ones, but that was just like,
All right. Carlos, what's your number one?
My number one scariest movie moment has to be the fourth kind alien contact possession scene. I don't know if anybody's seen the fourth kind, but this movie freaked me out when I saw this in high school because I thought it was real. Because they show it like it's a documentary, like they're gonna present you some real footage clips with like dramatization on top of it.
Mhm.
And those real found footage clips were like hauntingly creepy, like extremely disturbing to watch and like hear. And that movie affected me so much that I had one night of sleep paralysis where I was actually levitated in my bed thinking the aliens were abducting me. I could not move. I thought I was going to be abducted. And I was like, bro, this movie, okay, yeah, I'm never going to watch The Fourth Kind again. And I ended up watching it again because I later found out, like, oh, yeah, it's not real. It was just like the Blair Witch Project kind of esque where people thought it was like real. Remember when that came out?
Yep.
So, yeah, that movie scarred me.
I saw that. I think it came out 2009, and I saw it back then. I don't remember much about it, but yeah, it was pretty disturbing. I remember, so I should see that again. Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it because I don't remember it, Carlos.
Go to YouTube and look at the clips. Like, even the clips is just like if you believe those clips were real at the time, which I did, they scarred you because I was like, oh my god, like how are they showing these creepy movies?
How do we know you weren't adopted?
Maybe I am abducted. But yeah, that movie was the same era of like Paranormal Activity was starting. Like it was a lot of found footage kind of movies were coming out during that time.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to watch it again because I don't remember it.
Yeah, the horror like mockumentary genre.
Yeah.
All right, B, surprise us. What do you got for your number one?
Oh, it's just what I chose for my second. It's probably not really that scary. It's more about when the movie found me. the original Texas Chainsaw,
Oh, okay.
the Meathook scene. Wow, I'm still terrified. It took me at least a decade to be able to watch that movie again. 70s, not like, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not a movie that's remembered for its, its groundbreakingly real effects and its
Yeah.
killings or anything. But I grew up, my brother is 10 years older than I am. And so I got introduced to horror at a really young age. And I found this movie when I was probably about 13 years old. And he had married his first wife and moved to Cape Cod. And I was like, I can do it. I can stay up late. I can watch this kind of movie. And so I did, and I snuck downstairs and I like turned all the lights off and I was like, oh, I've heard about this one, and I put it on. It was just that genre of like a movie that you're too young to really see. And I watched it and I was so shaken that when I went up back to my room, I turned a nightlight on and it was leaving patterns like in the shadows on the wall. And I was just like scared to my core, like I can't be alone. And I called my brother who was living on the Cape and I said, like, I just watched this movie. I did it. I'm really brave, but I'm so scared now. And my brother drove from the Cape to our house in Rhode Island and came in and stayed with us for the night because I just couldn't be alone after seeing the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So decades later, that movie was still scaring kids.
B, did you know that there's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game that came out this year? Where you have somebody playing as Leatherface and you're a survivor and you're trying to escape the house.
Oh my God. Yeah, it took me a really long time to revisit that series because that just and again, I was probably the same age when The Ring came out. Like it was around then and it didn't even matter. Like for me, this 50-year-old movie, it just found me at the right time to totally
torture you.
Me. Yeah.
Yep.
Now you need to play the game, B.
Now I need to play the game. Now I need to overcome Leatherface.
You can do it, B. You can do it.
I think I have a similar story for my number one, which is The Shining. And it's the scene where Jack goes to room 237 to the green bathroom. I saw this probably way too young. And I don't even know how much of the movie I saw, but I remember seeing this probably on cable at something when I was 10 or 11 or 12 or something like that. A little too young probably I was immature, probably 11-year-old. I just wasn't ready for this at the time. But this is the scene where Jack goes to room 237, the green bathroom. I guess the scene maybe isn't as horrific as some of the others that we've mentioned on here, but it's probably the most unnerving for me in a lot of ways because it just comes out of nowhere. What happens at this point in the story? Jack is extremely mentally unstable. He enters the bathroom, which, by the way, is probably one of the most iconic sets in Hollywood ever. And everything is mint green, which typically would offset the feelings of dread. But that Wendy Carlos score can't be denied. There's something sinister brewing. And there's this beautiful naked woman that's in this bathtub, and she steps out and she approaches Jack and begins to seduce him. And Jack looks up and sees her reflection in the mirror, and she's this old and decomposing corpse, more or less. And then she starts cackling and going after him like this, and he's just kind of like this. Some of the acting is kind of suspect, at moments in this movie, but he's just kind of like everybody's in this movie is like, but it just gets to me so much. Even though I see it now at an adult age, I get the heebie-jeebies watching this scene. A lot of it has to do with just so much of the score for this and the directing of this. And the way that everything is shot in this, the room is shot. Everything's so symmetrical in here. It really is Kubrick working at the peak of his powers. Not just movie, but the scene. It's amazing. I've always interpreted this scene. The reason why I love this scene as well is because this is the hotel fully seducing Jack. It's his point of no return. It's a haunting moment for me. Not the scariest movie moment possibly, but it's the one that I remember seeing at the youngest age, and it freaked me out because I didn't expect it to happen. So
I'm not a huge
that's my number one.
Kubrick person, but I saw A Clockwork Orange too young, and I remember that being just unsettling.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the one with the English movie?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Oh yeah, that's a.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Us, right? It almost reminds me of Us, that a little bit like
the masks and sort of like the strangers torturing you.
So you guys have iconic movies when you guys watched when you were too young. My too young movie was Halloween Resurrection, I think, with Busta Rhymes, and yeah, that was my introduction to horror stuff as too young. So that's what shout out to Michael Myers in that film.
Always happy when Busta Rhymes gets mentioned. When Busta Rhymes gets mentioned on the podcast.
Yes. So I'm here for it.
The Shining.
My very first horror film when I was young, I was the youngest. I was 15, and it was Exorcist. The Exorcist was my very first. I wasn't allowed to watch horror, but I wasn't living with my parents at that point. I was living with my uncle. So with my other cousins, we could kind of snack down to the living room and watch the film. And I was 15. That was my very first horror film, and it did a number on me. So
also shout out to Disney Channel in like the late 90s, early 2000s, because they put a lot of scary movies that were not really made for kids, but they played them anyway, and they traumatized a whole generation of kids.
Yep. Any honorable mentions anybody wants to throw out?
Honorable mention.
I didn't think of an honorable mention, but The Shining is really.
Yeah, that's my honorable mention. Just Disney Channel in general.
Okay.
For Don't Look Under the Bed, Under Wraps, Halloween Town. Yeah, they had some creepy moments as a kid.
Well, Debbie Reynolds, famously terrifying. Just kidding.
Hocus Pocus too.
The two that were on the cusp of my list that I wanted to put in there, but I couldn't fit was from Seven, Sloth. That moment where Brad Pitt and everybody they're around the guy is Sloth, and all of a sudden he just springs to life.
Oh yeah,
that gets you, that moment. And another movie that I saw as a young kid that has always stuck with me is Poltergeist, the clown scene. Never looked at clowns ever again after that.
I can't. I don't do clown movies.
Yeah.
Just,
my two honorable mentions. I just wanted to put out there.
I have to say, on clown movie though, the original that's a creepy movie.
Yeah, the original It. Yes, I would say yeah.
I try rewatching that It movie from 1994. It's a TV movie. It's hard to get through that.
It's another one of those I saw it a little too young though. I guess for horror I saw as an adult that really scared the crap out of me. Eyes Without a Face.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's really good.
Okay.
All right, my honorable mention is The Blob. That scared the shit out of me.
The Blob?
Yes.
Oh,
like the 88 one or like the original one from the 50s?
The 80s.
Okay.
The Blob.
The Blob,
that
I know.
thing just like ate you alive. That's freaking creepy.
Okay, all right, yeah. No, there was a one from the 50s. That's why.
I don't know the 50s, but no,
yeah, like Universal Horror, I think it was.
Yeah. All right, this is fun to do this list. Let's yeah. And I want to say this: if any listeners out there want to share their top 3, email us. All right? I would love to get some audience feedback here. Send us your top 3 scariest movie moments to our email at backtotheframerate@gmail.com. All right. Maybe we'll read them on upcoming show. That'd be awesome.
Yes, that would be so fun.
Let's get some feedback. Okay. Let's move on to our movie musings where we share what we've been watching or what we want to watch. Anything in the world of movies. Let's begin. We've been starting with Ellie all night long. So what have you been watching?
So I've been watching. Well, I saw The Covenant with Jake Gyllenhaal, and
I just saw that too.
did you really?
I loved it.
I loved it too. It was so freaking awesome. I know it's not based on a true story. It's not, but it could very well be because it's about the war in Afghanistan after 9/11. So
This is a true story.
is it a true story?
Yes,
I thought it wasn't.
This is based on a true story. Yeah.
It is. Oh,
Did you not see
even
the
better.
picture at the end of it with the two guys? Like, see
Oh,
the-
that's right. Hello. That is true. That is true. You know what though? I love the whole freaking movie. I especially love the Ahmed. I don't know his name. What's his name? The actor there.
I don't have the cast list in front of me, but yeah, I know who you mean.
His ordeal that he went through to save Jake from being found by the Taliban, just I could feel it. I could feel that struggle to get through the mountains to save that soldier, and he never gave up. And the fact that these interpreters, I love when Jake says to him, "You're my translator," and he says, "No, I'm an interpreter." There's a difference between a translator
Yes.
and an interpreter, right? So but it's true, these people risk their life to be interpreting for the soldiers during that war, and they were promised visas and safe stay here in the United States, and a lot of them didn't get it. A lot of them didn't get it, but this particular story, he does come to the USA with his family, and I was just rooting, and I was just like, I think every moment my heart was like beating, like, oh my god, they're gonna get caught, oh my god, they're gonna get killed, oh my god. It's just so
good.
awesome.
I dare say, this is a bold statement, this is the best movie Guy Ritchie's ever made. It's not my favorite, not my favorite, but the best movie he has made.
You've done really well.
Because I mean, I love Snatch and I love Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He's made movies that I enjoy more, but he hit another level in filmmaking with this film, I think, which he's never done before. This was incredible. I thought a great film. And we when we do our top 10 list, maybe the end of this year, this is way up there for me.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I really enjoyed it. I've been wanting to watch it, and it's finally on Prime. So I figured I might as well watch. It's free, so I enjoyed it. It was really great movie.
Yeah.
I also watched The Fall of the House of Usher, Netflix, the series. Excellent series, well done. It left me with my mouth open, especially the things that were saying, and then I now believe that a lot of people on top of big rich people have sold their souls to the devil after the Usher's house. I'm sorry, I believe that. I believe it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the what's it called, The Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, I think we got another from now. Maybe is it October 27th? What is the date on that?
The 20th.
20th.
Yeah. That's a film that I'm so looking forward to watching. Being half Native American, half Indigenous, I'm so happy that Scorsese is bringing this story to life. And no one better. I love DiCaprio, and I think he's just such a great actor, and so I'm really looking forward to sitting there for 4 hours?
3 hours and 26 minutes.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
And I'm not drinking anything, so I don't have to go to the bathroom. Yep, that's it.
Is it a day and date release with Apple TV, or is it coming out a week later?
I think is it a week or is it a month? I thought it was like a month later, like after theatrical release.
Oh, okay. I mean, I want to see it in the theater, but I know I have to check again
because I know that's what they're doing with Napoleon. I'm pretty sure because Napoleon's also coming to Apple. Well, the extended version is going to come to Apple, and the
Napoleon will be good. Just floating that.
I don't know.
It's like
I trust Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I do love Joaquin.
I do trust Joaquin.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I believe in Joaquin.
Yeah, so I think yeah, so for that movie, the extended release is going to come to Apple, and the theatrical cut, is going to be in theaters. I don't know about the Killers of the was it Killers of the Moonflower
The
Flower Moon?
Moon.
Moonflowers?
Moonflowers. Yeah, Killer of the Flower Moon. I think that runtime is still going to be the same on Apple and in the theaters. So
Yeah, I didn't see anything on here exactly when it's coming to Apple TV, but I definitely want to see it on the big screen.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's see. So Carlos, anything else you want to?
So I'm also going to be watching the Killers of the Flower Moon. Leo, obviously Scorsese, obviously like you got to watch these. And also the lead actress, I don't know her name, but she's also in a show that I watched called Reservation Dogs on Hulu.
It's a great show.
Yeah, Taika Waititi.
Lily Gladstone.
Yes. Yeah. And she's awesome in that show too. She doesn't have like a big role in that show. She's like a side character, but it's awesome to see her in that. And I also watched the fall. I always get this name wrong too. The Fall of the House of Usher. Also, my mother said this show is based the commentary of this capitalist society that we live in and these rich people that control it. But as a Mike Flanagan, horror television show, it's not. It's never gonna reach the heights of The Haunting of Hill House. That's still like my favorite all time horror.
Great show. Yeah,
it has some good scares, and it's the second on the Flanagan verse of those TV shows. And then we watched Saw X in theaters, and unfortunately, this is not my favorite Saw movie. Again, I don't understand the audiences. I don't understand the critics why they rate this movie so super highly on their criticisms or reviews, but like for me, like it just didn't hit the way like I thought it would. It was cool. It's cool though. It's cool. Like it's cool. It's Saw again. You're back. We're back, baby. But after 10 movies, like I don't know, man. Like there needs to be some. If they come back to Saw 11, like I don't know where they would go, what they would do, but I want to see more life into these movies where it's not Saw from 2000. Like we're still there. We're still Saw in 2000. It's not modernized. It's never gonna like leave that era. It's for good or for worse. I don't know. But that's my take on that.
It's more Saw. All right.
More Saw.
All right.
I love Saw though.
All right. Well, thanks, Carlos. Let's. All right. So B, how about you?
Sure, yeah. I appreciate Carlos tempering my excitement for Saw. I do want to see it, but like maybe I could wait until it's streaming. Like it's good to have a real opinion, not an internet opinion. So thank you. So much happened this week with me for movies. It was awesome. So I'll start with the non-seasonal thing. I did finally get to watch Bottoms, which I think I brought up on the podcast a few weeks ago. It was $6 on Prime for rental, and 3/4 of a bottle of wine in. That was an easy yes. And it was great. It was everything I wanted it to be. Do I think it's technically as good as Shiva Baby? No, not really. But the whole premise of what if teen girls in high school started a fight club is funny for me, funny enough. And I don't know that it stands up this good, although it was really good. I don't want to make it sound bad, but it sort of felt like it's going to be this generation's But I'm a Cheerleader, which if you haven't seen, you should also see. It was good. It was really good. It was really funny. It got a lot of like laugh out loud moments out of me, so I'd totally recommend it. But I did try and keep it seasonal because I do love this time of year. So I finally got around to Cure, the Kurosawa Japanese thriller from 1997, and that really, really lived up to the hype for me. That I did think it was great. And you can really see, even though I haven't seen a lot of J-horror from the late 90s, just culturally, globally, it really fits in with the conversation that I think a lot of movies were having then. That sort of just the end of the pre 9/11 movies that you can tell and you can feel. So I thought that was really interesting. But the highlight of my week was I got to spend Friday the 13th in the woods, and shout out to Coolidge Corner Theater here in Boston. They partner with the trustees of reservations, and they put a big show on outside of Friday the 13th, 7 and 8, The New Blood and Jason Takes Manhattan, which is just a very wet
Oh,
movie. I love a wet movie.
Sam would be is kicking himself for not being there for this Jason Takes Manhattan screening, I'm
Oh, it
sure.
was so good. And the way they had it set up was so atmospheric. So, we had to park in this overflow lot and, you're walking
Mhm.
through the woods and someone was dressed as Jason walking
I
behind
know.
everyone. And you
I
start to
know.
hear this thumping music before you see the big screen, and everybody just set it up like a picnic with camping chairs, and they had a food
Nice.
truck, and
Oh, that's
we
so
were
awesome.
there until midnight. And it was just really a really strong argument for why we need local cinemas and why we need art house theaters to keep doing what they're doing, because 450 people bought tickets for that. And
Wow.
that's astounding. They
Yeah.
sold out the woods. I mean, so I was just it was a stone cold pack of weirdos in the woods that night, and I had a great time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not going to the woods anytime soon. B.
Well, that sounds like a great time. Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So,
Tell us about yours, Nathan.
I saw a couple things. I saw a lot of things actually this past week, but there are two things I will mention. About a month ago, I completed my own personal Billy Wilder marathon. And what I like to do is, on my own personal level, I do director retrospectives. So I decided that I need to tackle another director. So I decided to go with Robert Altman. And who I'm ashamed to admit, I have many glaring blind spots. Such as like McCabe and Miss Miller, Nashville, Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, Shortcuts. I haven't seen any of these. And there's many others that have just flown under my radar. So I think I've only seen like 25% of his movies. So this is prime territory for me. So this past week, I watched like the first 4 of his films, but the one I want to mention here is I finally, for the first time in probably decades and decades, rewatched MASH, which came out in 1970. So this
so
time,
good.
yeah, I think I saw this in college, and back then I probably didn't connect with it all that much. But this time around, I took a lot more away from it. But I still feel like it's maybe a little overrated. I have to say, all right. It certainly is a landmark film for a couple of reasons. It's Altman firmly planting his flag in the ground as a renegade anti-war, probably socialist. His use of overlapping dialogue, of course, is a cornerstone of his filmmaking. It's used to a lesser degree in his earlier films, such as Countdown, but here it's dialed to 11. I think this film also set the standard as for the ultimate hangout movie. MASH doesn't have all that much of a plot. And I think it's films like American Graffiti that would probably use this as a blueprint and a springboard to bring a lot of character driven stories to the forefront where plot wasn't all that as important. So this, it was interesting seeing this again. I got more out of it than I did back in the day, and it was fun. And it's just cool seeing not Kiefer Sutherland, Donald Sutherland and Elliot Gould just hamming it up in this, and they are just movie stars on the rise in this movie, and it is a fun movie. But I think it's one of those things where you had to be there probably in the 70s and be part of that culture to really feel that impact of it. So, but yeah.
Have you seen The Long Goodbye? Because Elliot Gould is excellent in that.
Did, and it's been again probably 25 years. I cannot wait to go through the 70s with Robert Altman, and that's coming up soon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The other thing I saw streaming on Amazon Prime now is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. A couple months ago, I think Sam mentioned how much he had a good time watching this. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it on Amazon, but oh my God, did I love this film.
Yes.
I can't believe I slept on this when this was in the theater. This movie was so much fun. It's directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley, who are the same directing team that brought us Game Night, which was one of the best comedies in recent years. There are just so many great ideas in this film, original set pieces, and the performances are great. Chris Pine is funny and charismatic. It was wonderful seeing Michelle Rodriguez kicking ass in this film, and the entire supporting cast is fantastic. I think the trailers for this film did not do this film any service at all. It was
Agreed.
not make me want to run out and see this, but I'm thankful that I did because this movie is so much fun. I think, unfortunately, this movie made globally only about $208 million off a $150 million budget, which isn't that good. And they haven't announced a sequel yet, but I really hope that they do because, this movie was so much fun. And I think it would be such a great franchise. So people, listeners, if you're out there, go to Amazon
Please.
Prime, watch this movie, show Paramount
So good.
that this is a worthy franchise. They need to make more of these. This can be a great franchise if we support it, please, because this.
It got released in between Mario and John Wick, so that release window was rough for this movie.
Yeah. I can't believe I slept on it, but
I almost slept on it, but Carlos made me watch it.
Yep.
And it did not disappoint at all.
Oh my god,
it did not.
So good. So I could mention other things I saw. I already mentioned before that I saw Talk to Me before, which I
gotta see it.
Mildly enjoyed. I like the fact it was done for $5 million and it did so well. And I applaud the fact that a movie like that can happen and do so well, and a franchise can spin out of that compared to what we reviewed today, where they bought this franchise for $400 million and this is what we get. And a movie like Talk to Me can be done for $5 million. And it's so clever what they did with that. So anyways, that is what I have been watching. So here we have it. So I think that takes us to the end of the show. I don't think we have any other business to do. Any final thoughts?
Body in the Blood.
Body in the Blood. One more time as Wahlberg.
Body in the Blood. Come on, it's Body in the Blood. Get in the car.
You.
It's Transformers here. Get a Body in the Blood. I love you, Mark Wahlberg.
I think we need to do like a remix of all of our Mark Wahlberg sound bites at some point,
and we send it to him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we have it. So that's the show, everyone. We thank you for tuning in this week. And a final reminder that if you like what you're hearing, please leave a rating and review. It gives us a little spring in our step. The best place to do this is on Apple Podcasts or iTunes or wherever you listen to us. Sign up for our monthly newsletter, Frame Rate Monthly, by emailing us at backtotheframerate@gmail.com. Back to the Frame Rate is part of the Weston Media Podcast Network. Hit us up on Facebook and Instagram at Back to the Frame Rate. You can find past episodes of the show and other podcasts from the Weston Media Podcast Network on our website, and I'll drop the link in the show notes. And of course, the best way of helping us out is to share our episodes on your social media feeds. That's it. The show is over. Goodbye.
I want you to know it's over.
Well, bye.